Well, yes, we'll be talking about the national conference. There were some fireworks. We spoke about this in our opening sequence yesterday. But you know what? It also continued the day before and then yesterday. So who knows what else will happen today? Well, we'll be speaking, as you might have seen in that welcoming slides, to Goddy Uwazuruike, who is a delegate at that conference. He's also a lawyer, as well as the president of Aka Ikenga. He joins us from our studios in Abuja. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. But before we go ahead and let you explain to Nigerians and comment on what transpired, let's even show them a little clip of what we caught on camera. Let's take a look.
Now, delegates arrived at plenary expecting a calm and rancor-free day. The leaders of the zone, who met to discuss contentious issues on the recommendations of the Committee on Devolution of Power, were expected to present their agreement. But it appeared they were yet to reach a consensus, so the conference decided to consider the modalities for the implementation of the final report of the conference.
Our brief is to write a good report, set out clearly all our recommendations as accepted by this conference, and set up a date to present it to Mr. President. I believe if we do that, our job is done.
Submitting to the National Assembly, it is just all effort wasted. So I suggest that by the principle of implied mandate, if Mr. President goes over the head of the National Assembly and in the national broadcast and asks for a referendum, his actions will be validated because of the fact that it will be popular.
We have been selected by Mr. President, by governors, and various interests. But if we take what we have done here to the people, for them to affix their imprimatur to it, then everything we have done here, even though we are not elected, would have been ratified by the people, and therefore the problem of illegitimacy is cured.
With this going on, the zonal leaders walked in. The spokesman of the group was invited to present their proposal.
This group adopted a position and to recommend to the plenary not less than 18% as the derivation formula for 5% revenue allocation to be made in solid minerals development. We know that we've been over-relying on the oil, which is a depleting asset, and that the time has come to pay even more attention to other resources that this country has in abundance and is fairly well spread.
He also added this proposal.
We have recommended a new fund to be established, which we call Fund for Stabilization, Rehabilitation and Reconstruction. 5% of revenue to be allocated to that, principally for the Northeast, which that about 50%, Northwest and North Central. These recommendations, if endorsed, will be reflected in the Revenue Allocation Act.
The House adjourned on this note, but it was clear delegates were not pleased with the options before them.
You're not God, I'm not God. You don't even threaten anyone. Don't threaten anyone.
Now, it appears despite all attempts to make sure these issues are settled amicably, there may be a face-off among delegates in what will be the last plenary of the week. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Well, yes, having seen that, Mr. Uwazuruike, I mean, some of those delegates, looking at them, you can tell, they're not easy meat, and one wonders if you all will eventually agree on this. But tell us, what's going on with this devolution of power committee's report?
Well, you know, yesterday we were supposed to have started voting on this last committee report, which is the Committee on Devolution of Powers. But when we came, we were told that some elders were still meeting, they were going to resolve some things and so on. So happily we all moved into the modalities, which is what do we do? How do we make sure that our work is not in vain? Midway, of course, or towards the end, the wise people, as we call them, they came in, and we expected a very, very workable report. But by the time they gave first one, second one, and third one, we all knew there was tension in the House. And then wisely, of course, the chairman decided to adjourn proceedings till today. I'll be honest with you, that report took everybody by surprise, because when you're expecting somebody something in a particular direction, then it comes out in a totally different direction. I think you need time to let it sink. As it is, that report was not what we were expecting. And some of us are even suspecting that maybe some people had some agenda which they now wanted to come and sneak in. So the delegates did not come on anybody's ticket, they said their own. Nobody brought anybody there, so we must study it and know what it is. What are we voting for? So far, all decisions have been taken on the floor. And this one will not be an exception.
So what is it that you were expecting if this wasn't it?
Well, we are expecting the percentage for oil-producing states. Presently, it's 13%. There is this debate between going for 21.5% and 25%. We know that nobody gets everything he wants, but at least something tangible, something appreciable should have been added. That one, we're still pondering what the whole thing was all about. Then one on solid mineral development moved from 4.5% to 5%, and then from nowhere, repeat, from nowhere, at another 5% intervention fund for Northeast, Northwest, North Center. And we said, some of us asked, do they mean for the nation or do they mean for just 3 zones? That's what threw everybody off. And that's one of the things we are going to battle out this morning.
But as it is now, with that committee's report, was it that it was just read to the entire members and then they were told, okay, go digest this, when you come in, you vote, and when you get in there, is it that everyone will also comment on it, or after which those wise men, as they refer to them, go back, look at it, and alter their recommendations? What would the formats be when you resume today?
Well, I can't hold brief for the all right, I cannot hold brief for the chairman, but let me put it this way. I don't think we're expected to swallow hook, line, and sinker everything that was done by the leaders of the 6 zones and about 2 or 3 stakeholders. No, we must have our own inputs. And after that, there'll be voting, either voice votes or secret voting, whichever one, it must be our decision. Therefore, the management, I think, they wisely adjourned abruptly because the tension was really, really high. So, believe you me, it's not going to be easy this morning.
What's your expectation?
Those who want 5% will dig in. Those opposed to it will also dig in.
Well, anyway, Chief Uwazuruike, because loads of Nigerians are already thinking that, well, this is taking too much of time, and they would have thought that by now would have reached, well, a consensus on this particular matter. What's your expectation this morning when plenary resumes?
Well, my expectation is that there will be give and take. We have come to this kind of quagmire in the past, and we always reached inside us to resolve it. Remember when we were talking of what percentage for voting? Some people trying to work out, at the end of the day, it was resolved. Now, in between that, 1 or 2 tense moments, but this one really took everybody by surprise because we were not expecting it. Where we thought there would be a battle is not where the battle is. So this morning, yes, people will speak, some for, some against, but I'm sure that by the time they finish, we may see wisdom in what those committee members have done, or they may see wisdom in what we're saying. But either way, we'll be better enlightened. I'm aware that even the president of Nigeria has even set aside a certain amount for areas damaged to insurgency and so on, but not in the range of 5%. If you have an idea of what is 5% is, you cry. If it is for the whole nation, call it intervention. I can give you an example: road network, repairs, and so on, all over the country. Call it infrastructure funds for every part of the country. Nobody will quarrel with it. I can tell you that since the end of the war, some of those roads damaged in Biafra, damaged in the old Midwest, that's in today's Edo and Delta states, and some parts of Ondo, are still there, all repaired. Some of those schools are still damaged up till today. So if they're talking of infrastructure development funds, we have no problems. For the whole country, of course, never for any section. And of course, remember that the one we're talking of for oil-producing areas really means that if they find oil in Borno State today, is part of it. Kogi says it has oil, I expect Kogi to be part of it. Kwara State has also announced it has found oil, we also expect them. So it's not like only South or the present 9 states that actually produce oil. No. It's for any place where if tomorrow Lagos State starts pumping the oil, which I know it has, it will join.